Hey, everybody. This is the Jake Podcast, jakepodcast.com. What's going on? Everybody's here with their own special little mic tonight. Look at you guys feel special. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's looking good, got their mic. That's what I'm talking about. Also, the new edition, and not like New Edition, the singing group from back in the days, but the new edition is having our visual. You're too old. How old are you that you know that?
You are old.
And you're 12 and you don't know
anything.
Yeah. No, we had the you don't know anything conversation earlier. I was like, look, it's fun and it's nice to be, 19 and whatever, but you do understand you guys don't know anything. Like
zero.
What I don't even remember. It went from the dog training and this and a bunch of other random stuff that we went through and whatever, and that's where the you don't know anything.
We're 19. We're allowed to be selfish human beings. We
It's
don't have to.
not about selfish. You live in
No.
the information age. You really need to, to look into some stuff.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Our generation has a lot of blinders.
But then again, we weren't.
But we learned how to survive.
No, and look, so do some of them also. But in the same token, we were not in the information age. I made a joke, and I was like, look, if I wanted to find out any of this information, I would have to go to the library and like get on microfiche and use the
What's
two little.
microfiche?
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. What's microfiche? I think it was outdated when I had it or when we had to go. Like if you
67, it was at the peak.
Yeah, if you really wanted to do like an in-depth thing and pull up articles that were archived, like if I was studying something from like 1929, yeah, there wasn't like readily available. Like you couldn't just go online and find it, it didn't exist.
Yeah, online didn't exist.
Yeah,
so.
you had to go get like hard copy microfiche stuff from like the
Or
library.
dictionary or something.
It was like some weird box. It looked like the NFL when they stick
Like
their head in
timeout box?
they're
Yeah.
reviewing a play and you had
Like
to
a
stick your head in there and
like an overhead projector, which you probably don't know what that is either.
I know what an overhead projector is. Teachers have them.
Do they really?
Do they
yeah,
really?
No,
Yeah.
it's
Still do?
digital.
No, they have actual like overhead projectors.
Remember
where
the
you
one with
put the
little
laminated thing on top and it shows?
Yeah,
beams
they
on them.
have that. My generation is not that ridiculous.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so obviously the biggest topic of the day, you and I talked first thing this morning about it and, and all the other, shenanigans associated with it. The take a knee, right? It's been everywhere. And the bad part is, I started seeing the memes of, this is why we stand and, this is why we stand and, you name it. There's a million other cross-reference things going on with it, right? Enough to drive me batty. Obviously, Donald Trump came out and, he comes out and talks about the, that the NFL, should fire that, that SOB, son of a bitch, whatever, right?
Right.
So we've got, we've got some of that stuff. I'm trying to search around right now on, on my Facebook so I can pull up some of the shenanigan memes.
I saved something for us.
Did you? Good man.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why we stand. That's one of them, right? And I got into it with a little bit of everyone, like almost anyone who was posting. Look, I don't need to tell everyone every day that I'm an American, right? I tried to do some regression thought process of going back to being in elementary school, because I think that was the last time we were forced to like stand and do it, right? Where you had to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, whatever.
Right.
The song never struck some emotional chord with me. Everyone moaned and groaned. Half of the people that I'm seeing on Facebook that are, disrespect and, and our flag and all these things, I've gone as far as to post the, the flag code, that's written, by the government.
Yeah.
That, the U.S. Flag code, which we completely bastardize in modern society right now, right? So that's what I love is people will take one thing that they don't agree with. And, this whole protest in the take a knee was never a protest against the flag or, America as a whole, right? It was to show social injustice, wrongdoings that were going on, against minorities in this country for, police brutality, senseless killings, all these things, right? To draw attention to it. But then there seems to be this weird, like, narrative that has been started. And I listened to it today on what was it, the White House press briefing, where they broke it down and they got into it, even further, and they're like,
I saw that.
and I'm like, no, nobody's saying that. You're saying that, and you're saying that, and then the people who listen to you or happen to be, extreme Republican or whatever they, associate themselves with, and they're using that narrative, right? It's so easy to say something like, I thought the days of daisy chain were over, where I tell you something and you tell another person, and then it just kind of takes on its own life or whatever. That's kind of what, this whole process is with these weird narratives, that you've got people saying stuff about it now that nobody that I've seen, witnessed, and I research, right? I got a lot of downtime. You talk to me in the morning, right?
Sure.
Never has that been said, right?
No.
And then, to have the president come out and say, anyone doing this, and then there was something that even went further that I didn't even dig that deep into it, but that he also said, he threw out some language there that said, that was alluding to boycotting the NFL, and we'll see how fast we don't get this straightened out. Right?
Yeah.
What? Like, dude, and there are things written in code of conduct for Congress and the president and all these things that directly say you cannot or should not do that to influence private business and whatever. But it just happened, and I love that nobody mentioned it. Like, I've got it on here. I can show you the verbiage. I don't know if you've come across it, but it's a real thing. You're not no member of Congress, no member seating in this point of power, from the president to whatever, to directly to directly affect private business in this manner and that manner and whatever. And just blatantly did it.
Well, I mean, is he influencing the NFL to? I mean,
look at the ruckus it caused. Look at Jerry Jones coming out.
Said some stupid shit.
Right. And we're also going to try and cuss less, only if it's uber important.
Okay.
Uber important.
Uber important.
Why Uber?
Hashtag Uber. Well, if it's a rant and F and rant, but for the overall greater good of. This is my national anthem. We're going to cuss less.
Didn't you just say son of a bitch?
Yeah, son of a bitch is not a swear word. It's a female. It's a female dog, and it depends on the substance of the word and in the manner in which it's being used.
That's offensive to any girl.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
You guys are also offensive if I like 5'5" and you're 5'4", so get over yourselves.
No, that's because girls are have standards.
Would you like the Webster's definition of what bitch says?
Yeah, female dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you call every girl that, so you're calling them a female dog.
When do I am I dropping the B word in regular thing unless it's in a comedy sense?
How's it a comedy?
This bitch, like that. Do you think that's really a thought that flies through my? You say it. What are you talking about? Again, you guys drop the N-bomb all the time.
That's
I have to
not
tell
me.
you.
That is Michelle.
You
I will
are
expose her on podcast.
Yeah.
That is Michelle. That drops the N-bomb every other day.
I'm not the word police. I'm just saying, and I'm referencing. It was relevant to the story. And if somebody said N-word, I would say N-word. I'm not gonna, drop I'm not gonna drop 30. I mean, dude, do I say?
I was gonna say, drop it right now while you play it.
Wow, drop it like it's hot. That's what you're getting into. So, what's your take on this, Matt? I mean, obviously, dude, my whole day has been ruined by dealing with
everything you see is NFL, CNN, Fox, NBC. Everything was the whole kneeling thing. I love what the Steelers guy did. What's his name? Villanueva or something like. He stood out just above the thing because he was a Ranger. He was a highly decorated.
If he really
stepped
wanted
out,
to,
no,
go
he
ahead.
did.
Yeah.
He stepped out. Salute. Put his hand on his heart, and he did it on the fringe of the tunnel. I thought that was pretty solid. I think, and I may be wrong. This is my opinion, but I think
you're probably wrong.
They're using the national anthem as their platform to protest. I think it should be done on a different platform. I understand the meaning.
Okay, look,
but
if you did
but
it on
what does it have to do with the flag?
if you did it,
what does it have?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the flag.
Zero.
Right.
Zero. The flag didn't do nothing to them.
Yeah. No, the flag's an inanimate object.
So that's what irritates me. Quote. From Jerry Jones.
Okay. Go ahead.
Owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He had a meeting with his coaches and all of his people, everything. He goes, players, everybody. It says, "You are simply all paid performers on a stage, and that the stage is mine. You will stand with your hand over your heart with respect when the country's national anthem is being played, or you will no longer be a Dallas Cowboy, a coach for a Dallas Cowboy, or any association with the Dallas Cowboys organization. I will immediately fire you on the spot, no matter who you are."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said.
Did you see the beginning of the game?
And I didn't. I did not see the beginning of the game.
I did.
I know. Yeah, I know you did. But I was already. But yeah, I think if this is a true statement from him, don't know.
It's on the internet. I'm fairly certain it's been verified.
So, then more power to him, because like I said, I mean, if you really look at it, if I was working at Ford or if I was working at Walmart and I just busted out with some protest in the middle of work, you would have a job, right?
Sure you would. You're union. You've got grievance process. And you know
if
what?
You're an engineer at Ford.
Okay. Well, we'll say that, but
if you work at Kmart.
Ford Motor Company is
What
union.
if you work at Kmart?
Ford Motor Company is union, and guess what else is union? Guess what else?
Kmart.
The NFL.
You don't understand. What I'm trying to say is that you still, but I heard today on the radio that there's some not a clause, but there's a code of conduct and what you can do and cannot do. So I don't know. I just feel that, there's a place and time for everything. I think that by kneeling is a disgrace. I really do. I think there's a place and time for that, and I think that it should be done somewhere else on their own time, on their time.
Okay, but what if so everyone says that, but if you have a platform, but why or how? No, and it comes down to the disrespect. It comes down to the disrespect. You believe it's respectful to do that, and if you're in that situation, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, in doing so, you along with anybody else, feels that it's somewhat disrespectful, right?
Right.
But hey, if you're going to do it, just do it in a different manner and do whatever because it's disrespectful for whatever. Where does it say that is a national way to show respect for what everyone believes, that it's to for fallen and everyone who's done, and this is a made-up ideal, right?
Right.
That has been passed
Colin
on.
Kaepernick, right?
No. The idea, the idea that saying the national anthem is to show respect to every fallen, service member, to our service members current. Show me where that is in writing, where that's indoctrinated anywhere. It isn't.
So here's the thing.
It's made up by what your grandfather told you, what so-and-so told you, what other people, and it's one of those things that people do. Now, what it means, there is no meaning to it other than a poem that was written in right after the War of 1812, right? And it wasn't even meant to be a song or whatever, right? I mean, if you do the research on what it is, it wasn't used normalized until the 50s or 60s, until in the midst of the Cold War, as to create nationalism, right? To create a national. So from 1812 until whatever the song, right? Maybe some dudes would, oh yeah, it was a good song, and sing it around a campfire, right? It had no nationalism in it whatsoever. So up until the 50s or 60s, and then number two, now. Where has anyone mentioned the national anthem unless somebody screwed up when they were singing it over the last 20 years?
As in being a part of some
part of anything.
I mean, what you just like?
Where's the relevance of it, dude? I wake up every morning. I don't get up and have a little flag sticking in the side of my living room, and
some people do,
and some people do. All right, okay, but I don't know one.
Like Pledge Allegiance. Remember when you had to do the Pledge Allegiance? Mm-hmm. I don't know. But it's I know what you're getting at. I understand what you're doing, but what it is this is the times. This is the times. So now we're gonna change the last how many years? You know, they've been
two times a year when you go to one baseball game and one football season?
No.
What else do you do out of 365 years? Where does this have any relevance in your life?
So you're saying so you didn't even care about the national anthem anymore?
I didn't really care much about it until weird. Yeah, dude, am I supposed to be saying it while I'm having my morning coffee?
Maybe.
When you were in high school, when you had to do the Pledge of Allegiance, did you stand? Or did you just sit there?
I think they told us to stand, and every one of these, now, this is the means everything in life, moaned and groaned and, say the pledge of the, and people would joke about it and and do whatever, but now it's somehow, and what? So 20 years ago was the last time that I had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. So where does that, the pledging allegiance, dude? I think it's kind of a one-time deal. Pledge allegiance. I'm an American. Chinese or Russians come running down Michigan Avenue. I'll sit up on my rooftop and pick them off with my 30-06. Right? I get it. Right? I've watched movies, The Patriot and Red Dawn and whatever. I get it. If you come over here and do whatever, I will be your worst nightmare. I've watched Rambo. Right? I'll stretch. I'll get limber. You know what I mean? I can smear mud on my face with the best of them.
I can sew up my arm if I fell out of a tree.
Dude. I mean, you kind of have to. So at some point, you don't. But I guess that's the point of, to show respect and whatever. Okay, it would be different if there was something there that, and I have the argument with a lot of, and there's underlying crap, right? Because every individual that I see having a huge problem with it does not have a ton of black or brown people on their Facebook feed, right? If I look at their friend list, they have very few. And not to say that your comments are, racist or anything, but a lot of people will call it white privilege and say that it's because, you know what? Well, this isn't the proper. Take your cause over there so I don't have to see it and I don't have to bother with it and whatever because, don't infuse it here. But that's the whole point of protesting. In order to make people uncomfortable and to make other people see the point of the social unrest, the police brutality, the killings of, X, Y, and Z, all these things, you have to put it forefront in front of somebody to notice it. If he was just doing something randomly and did it once or twice, nobody would have seen it. But look at what's happening.
When's the last time Colin Kaepernick even said anything about it? He said it one time. He's dodged media. He's dodged everybody. He hasn't talked about it since.
Yeah, it's starting a movement. And look, here's the great thing. Even if I sound passionate about it, I don't care either way.
Listen.
I think everything is stupid in life, right? Except for me and my dogs.
Have you ever been in a protest?
No, I'm not the protest type. I would like to think if I was in the 60s or whatever, the 60s and 70s,
burn your bra shit.
I would have protested. I would have protested Vietnam. Well, I feel it was an unjust war.
Listen. So a later amendment further authorized hand salutes during the national anthem. This is for just a little tidbit of veterans in and out of military uniform.
Mm-hmm.
This was included in the Defense Act of 2009, which President Bush signed on in October 14th.
Salutes, right?
Yep. First Act 11366. And it says here, the national anthem, when the flag is displayed, all present should face toward the music and act in the same manner where the flag was displayed. Public what act?
I don't know. You're reading it on me. What was that?
105-225 in August of 98. Hold on. It's U.S. Code, Subtitle 36, Part A, Chapter 3, Subsection 103. Let me see, read up more.
This is great radio.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Just kidding. No, but yes. But did you read and that's the wonderful thing. Should. That the one great part of doing whatever in this country is you can't tell me exactly how to or what I should think, or what I have to think, what I have to feel, and what I have to do, right? There's a certain level of things you have to do. Other than that, you should. There is no indoctrination saying that you do this or don't do this, because you know what that becomes? That becomes Nazi Germany, right? Because if you're standing there and you're not saluting or doing whatever's going on, you will be found, picked up, jailed, killed, imprisoned, whatever. That's not the world we live in, right? And the whole reason we exist is to not tell our citizens that you have to do this or you should do this, right? Now, with the national anthem, they're pushing the limits, right? But I don't live in a world where I'm going to be told that you will stand there and you do this. You know what when you do enter that is when you're in the military.
Right.
If you're in the military and you're active in whatever, cool. You do certain things. Yeah. You do a bunch of stuff I don't do and you don't do. We don't get up and run. We also don't run into war zones and and catch a bullet or do anything else, right? You're kind of on your own. But there's a plethora of things of why and how, but what everyone's missing too with your feelings, if you're emotional about it, and that's great, and you can be. I don't care if you do. The one thing I do is like to have an open debate about the Constitution, right? The Constitution of the United States of America, right? Which allows us to think, feel, do, and act, and have a peaceful protest.
Sure.
In any venue.
Oh, I'm down
Doesn't
for
say
that.
I'll accept
I'm down for that.
I'll accept during this or at a football game or why the national anthem. There is no defining point in the Constitution of the United States that people agree to defend and protect and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But I do love the people who claim to be the most America people ever in life. What are they? They're saying this dude should be fired. This dude should be this. You need to move to another country if you don't do this. Missing the greatest point of all, that the Constitution of the United States, that the military, that the president, that everyone agrees to defend and uphold and do whatever, gives you the right to do it. But you don't like it emotionally, so they need to move to another country. They need to do X, Y, and Z.
So then let's just start calling Jews, and let's start just we know it shouldn't be right.
You just did.
Well, I'm just saying. No. So no, I did. I was just using it as an example. So
that's like the bitch comment.
So right, or the N word. So let's just start busting that out. Even though we know it's wrong, but it's my free speech, and I'm going to say it.
I have a
friend. You know
friend,
it's not right.
I have a friend,
but you know it's not right.
I don't know.
Right?
Well,
so you go.
So you're calling me an Irishman? I'm going to be offended?
No,
I don't care if
but
you
it's
take
not right,
offense.
though.
Why is it not right?
Because
why is it a negative connotation to call somebody a Jew?
Why? Why would you want to?
I don't run into many.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is it offensive?
Because it just is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Things are not just is. They're just because you
That's
can.
how society has curved it and how it's gone.
No, you guys are insane because you could put 10 people in this room. Not all 10 people are going to be offended by X, Y, or Z, right? I have a Jewish friend who I do business with. Right. And he was like, Jacob, I am a Jew. Yeah, I have to get this price. But no, everyone in society says, not him. He's Jewish.
No, I'm not saying that.
He seems to be fine with it.
Jake, I'm not saying that every single person will be offended by, like, if you call someone an N-word or a Jew or, like...
Why are you putting it on me? I don't call people anything. I go, hey, sir, how you doing? Other than this, I said...
Hey, cracker!
Are you sure?
I do. I say cracker. I say cracker a lot.
No, but not everyone will be offended by it. It's like if you're really good friends with somebody and then you say that to them, it's like they do like brush it off and they like don't care. But if you're talking to like a stranger or something, some of them will actually get offensive.
What are you, Taylor Swift? Shake it off. Shake it off.
I will punch you in the face.
No, but it's not. Now here's the thing. I generally, you're around me 24/7. I don't offend. I don't call this and I don't call anyone anything other than, hey, what's
bitch
going on?
And cracker.
Who do I call bitch?
Funky.
Who don't you? It's okay. I'll just pull up a list of people.
You don't know nobody. You got like 2 friends.
You called 3.
No, you got 2. But no, and you're on crack, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you are. Who do I in customers of individuals that walk in here, who do I say derogatory, naming comment to anyone?
No, not to customers that we don't know, because you don't allow anyone in here to curse.
Yeah, exactly. She's making me sound like I'm the worst person on the
No,
planet.
I'm not.
Nobody curses in front of a woman in here. Nobody does whatever. And all of a sudden I'm telling people to grab people by the cat lady part. I'm not saying any of those things.
That's not a bad idea, though.
See?
like, I'm not even gonna.
Oh, but people will be offended, but not me. Do you understand that that's the whole point? Not everybody. When we did the thing with Bill Maher and the N-word and whatever, you look all the way through and all the comments, and I had people sitting in here that, black folks that went, I wasn't offended. A dude next to him was like, yeah, I was. I didn't like that stuff, right? So not any – in the world we live in, we assume that people would be offended, right? So we stand up for people possibly being offended. How about letting a couple people get offended, right? Or not getting offended, right? It's beyond me to now. I don't go around dropping the N-bomb. I tell you and your friends when you guys do because it's okay. It's okay for y'all to say it, whatever.
It's really.
But how many times do I jump on her and be like, "Yo, be cool with that. What are you doing?"
Because she would say like when a customer is in here.
Well, regardless, I mean, I'll say it. I'll say something to her anyways, just because I like to point out, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you saying that for?
Dropping the M-bomb.
But it's the thing. Like, you were like, oh, Jewish Jew. Okay, so if you're Jewish, I'd be like, don't call Jake redheaded. When I used to be redheaded, don't call Jake redheaded. That might get offended, right? Because being redheaded isn't an awesome thing, right? Ginger, fire crotch. Gingers have no soul, Richie Cunningham, Ralph Mad Magazine guy, so you go to that point, but I don't care. That's like, don't say Matt's bald. Don't talk about, lack of hair.
Exactly.
He might get offended.
But you don't say it though. These people are.
I will call you cue ball, you screwy cue ball looking son of a gun.
So mean.
You're not. You're some tan, Mediterranean people.
He's tan. You're peach.
I am. I'm peach. So what are you gonna do? It's like little kids. When little kids, will come in and be like, "Oh, you're fat and whatever," and don't say that, right? You're fat. If you're a fat person and somebody goes, "You're fat," you're balls. Yeah, I probably should start running, right?
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a thing. Ironically, that's QRS. That had happened a lot of times with QRS's nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
When he was a kid. When he
Yeah.
was a kid, why are you orange and blah blah blah, or walk up and go bloop and poke me in the belly and be like, you're rah, rah, rah. Don't say that and be like, no, what do you think I don't know? I have to look at myself naked in the mirror. I get it. I should probably cut back.
So did you enjoy it?
It doesn't matter, but it's the truth.
Yeah, but
so when are we gonna the sun's out? No, don't say it. It's not.
But there is points of being somewhat human and being nice and being considerate and being respectful.
Well, here's
There's different places.
No, that's great. And again, I'm on neither side of the argument because I don't talk like that to people,
Sure.
but I also don't agree with people who get offended by stuff either because it's the truth, right? If you
What's the truth? Kneeling down on the national anthem, that's the truth? No, that's just being a wrinkle and trying to look at me. I'm trying to be noticed.
Okay, but black people and people of color in this country. So you didn't take any history classes when you were in school. So
what's history?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's the thing. Now that's where people will go, oh, yep, just like that's white privilege, right? It didn't affect you, so it doesn't matter that that after the protest, 233 black males were shot and killed by police, right? Mm-hmm. Or that any number of things had happened, and you go back to oh, that was a long time ago, just get over it. Okay, it was only 50, 60 years ago that segregation happened, right? That lynchings were still happening, that and something that's near and dear to my heart, right? That a black person and a white person couldn't get married. Well, again, marriage isn't. But even if I was dating a black person, or even if what I mean,
midget.
all these things and midgets. I think everyone's kind of cool with midgets, and I think they're supposed to be called little people. I don't know what they prefer today, but they might be
Apparently,
offended.
midgets, calling them a midget is offensive.
Yeah, I don't know. Go check every day. Coffee's good for you. Coffee's bad for you. I don't know, and
Coffee
I don't trust
is bad for you. It just wakes you up.
Please stop. Don't give medical advice.
It's not medical. It's a fact.
But do you see that whole thing of, oh, so you're just putting a wrinkle in, oh, look at me. Like, just look at the fact that half of, or 1/3 of the countries is not getting, is being, oppressed in one way or the other, getting pulled over because you're black, driving while black, doing X, Y, and Z, has a higher potentiality of getting stopped at a stoplight and getting shot and killed. No, don't worry about that because it doesn't happen to you. Do you understand how you're so worried to not offend whatever? So I'm thinking you're borderline racist.
Not at all.
I would.
Are you
No,
serious?
but see, that's the new term of being racist is being aloof and not caring,
my
caring in
God.
one way or another.
Really?
No,
Not
that
even
is
close.
the newest call of it.
Yeah.
Seeing injustice,
Jesus.
seeing injustice, and not saying.
Wrong website today.
I'm telling.
You went there.
It's dude. Do you not know what I look at and watch and see
That's
on a
the
daily
problem.
basis?
I think it's
But
too
I
much.
didn't think you'd actually go there straight to racist. Like, what the
Why
heck?
would you even think that would be close being racist?
Oh my gosh.
And
That-
for the facts, isn't like just I wasn't that when all that the statistics came out about black men being shot, wasn't like white people up there too? Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
So is it media driven? You know, is it?
See, oh my God.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. What? So white people can't get killed and murdered by cops?
No, you do, but
Okay,
but
so why are we bringing up the black thing about?
it hurts my head. So when you look back, right? When you look back historically and everything that has gone, and yes, white people get killed by police also.
Yeah.
But the number of wrongly and being pulled over for no apparent reason, driving while black, you look at all of the things, and yes, white people get shot and killed by police officers also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, if you're in apples and apples, if you're going and you've got a knife and you're doing whatever, right? And there's an issue with police the way they handle anyone, right?
Sure.
Because there was that young lady who she was a LGBTQ thing or whatever the XYZ, whatever,
Right.
whatever
I understand the term.
whatever the all the
Long
letters
term.
are, yeah, and had a knife, right? And had a knife.
that
and was at a
dude
protest.
girl guy
dude
thing.
girl guy thing, right? And was had a knife and this, shoot me. Why did you not deploy a taser? Our officers don't have tasers. We don't give them tasers, right? So they don't even use that level of whatever, and shot a person with a knife and shoot to kill, right? They don't.
That's how they're
shoot to-
trained.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's how they're
seems-
trained?
Yeah, but seems a bit, like
Over the top.
you're a gun guy, right?
I would shoot someone that came after me with a knife. Yes,
Sure.
I would. Yeah.
But coming at somebody walking like a zombie towards you, you
Is
don't think.
is there video on that?
Mhm. Oh yeah, why do you think? Of course,
that's a mess.
I try and watch as much as humanly possible.
So
And it wasn't run and lunge; they
how
were walking
about
back.
how about reverse and how about just not approach a cop with a knife?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Let's just go there.
Yeah, that would be fine.
And then none of this would happen. What about the boy that they just got killed because the cop tased the black kid on the 4-wheeler and he died and hit a car?
Mhm.
Would have never died if he was driving his 4-wheeler on the road.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So-
There's always a, yes, you do dumb stuff and you put yourself in a situation and whatever.
Then the outcome is the outcome.
Okay,
If you
but
put
tasing
yourself-
someone while they're on a moving vehicle and whatever. Here's the deal. It wasn't a felony. It was a misdemeanor offense at best. So to lose your life over a misdemeanor offense,
and he's stupid for driving it then and not obeying the law and listening to the cop.
So, oh God, I hope you get put in that situation. Or you know what? This is what and I don't. I'm not
Oh,
going
I am in Canton.
I'm not going to do a Ricky Bobby on you or whatever.
No.
But I have this argument. I hope that your child goes through that and you feel the same, because it's real easy when it's everybody else.
If my child does something stupid,
You are a cold-hearted son of a
and
gun. Yeah,
you know
you
what? Then
really don't
you know
care.
what? Then he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry, you obey the law. Sorry, there's right and wrong.
But see, no.
No, but sometimes with some situations, cops do handle it differently, like to the extreme for no reason.
But and then you can go like this too. Like, what about all these cops that work in these cities and the real bad neighborhoods where you were on freaking point? You were constantly dealing with crazy whack stuff. Your first reaction is going to probably, I'm going to shoot to kill or whatever. I mean, I get that. I understand it. Yes, and maybe they should go do some training or some type of decompressing or, retire or move to a different position, a job. But I just, I mean, if you're dealing with that every day of your life, all cops are going to act like idiots. I get it. Maybe they should retire. Maybe they should get an evaluation every month or every 2 months or something to say, well, hey, you're kind of borderline, like, freaking out. Maybe you should take a week off, take a hiatus. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
if a guy walks up to a cop and he has a knife, that's like extreme for a cop to just straight up kill them.
Right.
Like that's really
Right,
over
but
the
everyone
top. It's a knife.
who has you're held as a personal CPL holder to a higher accord than the police, right? As being a private citizen.
Yes.
You couldn't do the things that they do,
No, you
but
can't.
it's because, well, it's my job and I felt my life was in danger, so I did whatever, right? It's,
if I was a CP holder and someone came up with me with a knife, I'd shoot him. I don't know I would shoot him.
But would you kill
So I was
him?
getting threatened with a knife?
that's their,
Well, I
that's,
You don't know. It's hard to tell. If you aim at his, I mean, it happens in such a fast situation. You don't have time. No, you think it's not. It's seriously, it happens very fast, and it's very hard to know what you do in a situation. So,
yeah, and the argument generally comes down to with blacks versus whites, that there are 160 million more whites than blacks in the country. This 62% portion of the population accounts for only about half of police-involved fatalities, 49%. Blacks, by contrast, account for 24% of the deaths, despite being only 13% of the population. So when you look at overall numbers, there are a vast more, white individuals or non-black, right, that obviously are doing that are getting involved in it.
We should protest then.
That's kind of part of the that we should as white people. Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Wait a minute. Who would be our spokesman though? Bill Clinton?
No.
No.
Well, and look, there's nobody saying that people doing wrong. You just robbed a bank and you came out and you were killed by police. That's an issue, right? There are certain things that everyone does. But see, what I love is even that statistic that an outsized 24% of the deaths, despite being only 13% of the population. If you extrapolate that through mathematics, that is a high number for a minority to be involved. And the issues go back, and here's where the history lesson, right? That only 50, 60 years ago, segregated schools. And then when you did come out, you're now dealing with subpar education, there's no money, books, whatever. Like, okay, here's your own school, here's this, and then, that's what had happened up until the 50s and 60s. Then segregation, right? And then the drug laws that were put in place under the Nixon era administration, right? That openly said to disenfranchise, black and hippie communities, right? That if you get caught doing X, Y, and Z, we're going to go ahead and, people still in jail or whatever, right? So now you've got fatherless households, the mother doing whatever. It's a perpetuated system, right? To where the communities are look at the inner cities, right?
White boy Rick, the laws have changed, and he should have been out of jail a long time ago.
Sure, but think about it. When you do it for 50 years, and you look at the generations of people that are coming up in that, and yes, you're going to have more. And look, dude, you also have the Obamas of the world, and you also have, Dr. Ben Carson, and you have doctors and lawyers and whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's a lower percentage to pull yourself out of that quagmire of being born. Your dad got arrested or shot and killed by the police because he had, a bag of marijuana on him or something, right? And you look at the context of it now, or people that were, and now you've got a single mother working at a, low-paying job trying to raise a kid or two or whatever. Now, there are also a million other socioeconomic reasons that go along with it. But knowing that people, ironically, the richest, athletic people, everyone doing things, the fact that they are standing up and going, look, it is still going on today in one way or another, right? Driving with a black buddy of mine, and we're driving, boom, get pulled over. Why are you two together? Where are you going? What's going on? Pulling him out. Where's your license? Give me your license. Reading him the riot act. What, you know what I mean? It still happens. And if you don't believe, then you've got your head in the sand somewhere. It does happen. It happens all over this country. This isn't a fake protest. Like, people aren't protesting going, look at what's happening in our community. Look at what's happening in the United States. This is happening. But white America, who doesn't have to deal with it, you live in an area where you don't have a lot of it, go, take that stuff somewhere else, right? That's the thing. We're supposed to be one American. We're supposed to be all united, and we're all supposed to be one thing.
Well, then that's why.
But you don't care about their situation, right? They're Americans just like you, according to being super America and super stand for the flag and the
I
heart
never
and the
said
thing.
I'm not interested in how they feel.
You literally, when you re-listen to this, you should listen to yourself and go, dude,
I
get
never
that.
said
I'm
you
just
just want to
bringing
be a
up
wrinkle.
points. No, I'm just bringing up of argument points. I never
I don't
said
like
that.
you.
I've never said that I'm.
You're lucky we don't hang out, because I'd stop hanging out with you.
Oh my god!
I don't hang out with people like you.
Oh my
whatever.
god!
That's fine.
You tan, good complexion people, not white, not black. You're right there in the middle.
Smelly, wet
Sure you're
ginger.
not. Sure you're not Greek.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't take it in the ass, so no.
Whoa.
So what do you? So with the the continuing shenanigans with that or whatever. You like that Jerry Jones came out and said X, X, Y, and Z. And look, everybody is dealing with it in a different way.
Right.
You know what? The NFL they're standing there with arms locked, right? And just like Jerry Jones when he said, you didn't see the beginning of the Cowboy game today, which I did. The beginning of the Cowboy game, we will all stand there with our hands over our hearts.
Sure.
They didn't, right? Obviously a talk amongst everything. What they did is they all knelt down, right? I think even Jerry Jones, I missed just that snippet of him.
Right.
But they all knelt before the national anthem, right? And when the national anthem was played, they stood up, as the national anthem was getting ready to be played, and locked arms in unification, right? So where's this protest against? And you know what that's against? Donald Trump jacking with the NFL, right? That they're standing there in solidarity with all the rest of the NFL, whether they choose to kneel, choose to stand, and whatever.
Sure.
And they stood there with arms locked. Jason Garrett, everyone on the team or whatever, right? So some people be, classy, don't disrespect the thing, and hey, it's my team, and you do whatever. But even he bent, and they all stood with arms locked as a two.
Yeah. For sure.
So to me, that was kind of neat, right? I don't care what one person does or another or what they do. It'd be hard pressed if I was at a game and I didn't feel like standing, and I get some, dirt country folks. There's probably going to be a fight, right?
Probably.
And hopefully I would be man enough to go, blah blah blah. Let him throw a punch or two, and cool. I'm now going to own your rusted out pickup truck and your trailer, right? I'll sue you until your eyeballs cave in. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what you can't allow that much emotion into everything of what another person does. You don't care about the plight of people of color in this country.
Never said that.
You did too. I've got it
Never said the
recorded.
plight. What do you mean? I never said I don't care. I was just bringing up points.
No, you did. You listen.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him. He literally said before, he goes,
No.
I'm going to try and back off on this, so,
No.
bust my balls a little bit. But that's
No,
how I
come
really feel. I hate, you're like George Bush.
You're out of your mind.
I'm Kanye.
Right, exactly. No, I never said I don't care, and I'm not, I understand it happens, but I'm just trying to bring points to even out the, you know what I'm saying? I never said I didn't.
Well,
Never said I didn't
and look,
like that.
I look at a lot of the issues, and that is the new what people consider to be racist. If I'm friends with you, if I'm a black man,
my god!
I swear to, dude, I read it. You don't read.
This is the first I've heard about
Psych?
it. Too.
Yeah, no, I will go through pages and pages of social media of any number of topics, and I have a zillion, I have friends all over the US, and friends who stopped dealing with people and went, dude, if you believe this, and if you're there, I cannot be friends with you anymore. Like, you literally, by saying, well, it doesn't affect me and whatever, but you're my friend and you don't care that me as a person, and I say, dude, look at our community, and this is something needs to be brought attention. Not that you need to do anything about it, but you at least need to acknowledge it and go, yeah, no, I don't know anything about that.
I never said that.
You need to take that wrinkle, get
that.
that thing away from me. Go find another. What you did say was take that protest somewhere else. You're just trying to, hey, look at me.
Put it on a different platform. That's all.
Okay,
a
a
different
platform.
stage.
So what platform would get as much attention as this?
Hold a press conference. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do something at lunchtime. I don't know.
No, you know what it's doing is being put in front of everyone. That's the point of a powerful sending of message, right? If you do something that only you watch or only you listen to or only you deal with, only the people that do that are going to hear it, not the whole country. Ironically, it's somewhat ingenious by doing this because it gets national attention from everyone and whatever.
Sure.
The point and whatever. Now, the one thing that you always run into problematically is you're going to get a few people who are like, oh man, let me look and see, let me research, and man, this and this, and I need to be more aware of what's going on in my country, not just me and my neighbor that lives next to me,
Sure.
right? You'll get some of those, but then what you'll do, ironically, is the exact same people that already don't care, don't like you, don't do whatever, are going to not care, don't like you even more, right? So the conversion rate on doing things like this to getting people to be aware of your cause or to care more or whatever, I felt the exact same way when the protested people blocking off the highway. You want to see me dislike your cause? Go ahead and block my highway, dude. I don't like school buses. I don't like other people's kids for impeding my drive to work or to
I thought about that.
the gym or the bar or whatever. You damn breeders. You damn
What
breeders.
is with you against breeders?
Dude, just keep clogging up the world with
I
all
mean,
your little
what about
crumb
the protest
snatchers.
about when Trump became president? All those protests broke out everywhere. I mean, you really needed to put a brick through a shop window? I mean,
yeah, no.
you know what I mean?
Any show of violence in anything, right?
Yeah.
If you are constitutional and you do read the Constitution and you know your rights and whatever, but those are, well, I mean, okay, say that about that, but people didn't like black people doing whatever, and you found out Janie was dating a black man, and they went and lynched people, right? You go through the South, you
That was a
go
long
through
time
everywhere.
ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah, it's that long. 50 years
Yeah.
is long.
Yeah, and look at how long that took to do whatever. The fact that people now, and you've got these anti-movements and you've got all these other things, but violence in those situations shouldn't happen, right? But throwing a brick through a window and killing and lynching people and killing people all throughout the South is a little bit bigger than throwing a brick, or no?
How does that even make a full circle sentence?
You're looking at anyone.
All we're just talking about, like, is just protesting in general. And
Well, but you've got to understand what
we're
people
not
are
protesting about a lynching. We're
gotta-
protesting about the president of the United States.
who came out to be blatantly by everyone who looked as being racist or extremely right wing to the point of being a nationalist, a white nationalist, and whatever. Right? That's the thing.
But
That
he didn't
those
lynch
things.
anybody, though.
What's that?
He didn't lynch anybody, though.
And nobody killed anyone in the process of his thing, of any protest against Trump.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, so. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I
You
mean,
know-
all I'm saying is that, I have many black friends, and
God after today.
you know what I mean? No.
Don't worry, I'll take all friends of Matt who don't like Matt after this.
No, it's not that.
I don't really hang out with him all that much anymore.
Oh my
anyways.
god.
Seriously.
I don't know. It's
Really?
funny. That's what they do on the Facebook.
Like I said, I never said that. I couple of my good friends are. Remember Joe that I used to bounce the bar with? Joe, he's out of Romulus, Big Joe.
Heavy Joe. Yeah. Yeah.
We still talk all the time. But
That was weird that you knew him and I knew him and we ended up working together and whatever. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Oh, he lost a bunch of weight. Yeah, he did the surgery.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
Call
anyways-
him right after this.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Shoot. I got no problem. Listen, I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm not. I know that I'm not racist. I know
That's what all racists say.
Well, whatever. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Right. I don't know. It is, and I'll show you like later or whatever, where how strong people feel on the other side about this. Just like the NASCAR folks and whatever that are extremely, that are extremely heavy on that side and whatever.
Yeah, that's too much. For
And
me.
then just the same equivalent of folks who are like, look, any person who just dismisses what's going on and whatever, you don't know it, or you may not, but turning a blind eye to it is the exact same as being racist, right? I
No.
think it's an extreme call.
Not really.
I don't really believe racism exists, whatever. I mean, I think it's okay to not like people, right?
Sure, for
I
sure.
may not like you. I may not like you. It doesn't matter what you look
What
like or
color you are,
whatever.
I just don't like you.
People don't like other cultures, right?
Right.
They're just culturally, and it was funny because we had weird conversations in here on multiple.
I can agree with
multiple
that.
levels
I can
where
agree with that.
where people were I don't hate all this and that whatever, and I'm like, okay, so you this, and it kind of factored down to they were talking about cultural differences, right? That just like with inner city or urban culture,
Sure.
right? It doesn't even need to be versus suburban, right?
Yeah.
You've got rich white people who don't like poor white people, right? Because you're just whatever. There is like and dislike all over the place, right? If you and if we went dressed like we are, and we went to Bloomfield Hills or went to Berkeley and sat down at whatever, and he's wearing tennis shoes with that, or cut off sleeves, or anything. Just not dressed like, and for not socioeconomically paired for the area, you will get nose turned and snubbed, because I've lived in rich areas and poor areas, right? Jake,
Inner city black kids cannot stand suburban black kids. Cannot stand them.
And you've got most, right? Always, never, always, and whatever, right? But yeah, there's a cultural bias, between the two.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting here and you're a 35-year-old white guy in Canton in your neighborhood, and you've got a car full of people coming up, whether white, black, fucking Korean. Hispanic, Korean, right? They seem to be a rowdy bunch, and and just thumping bass and boom, 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 and looking hard or whatever. Immediately bad thought, whatever. Sure. I don't like you people, because
it's changed, and it's
and
different,
they don't like it, right? Dude, I've had people who run and manage bars, and at the end of the night, especially if it's an urban club, you know what they do? Put on some Garth Brooks. People leave like it's like, I can't take it. It's hurting me. Like it hurts their like on a
like a vampire,
like a DNA level. Like, I can't take it. What are you playing? Especially after drinking and dancing and whatever, and to music that you to listen to this.
Funny.
And hey man, let's just go outside.
I'm
I can't take it, man. Like, you'll see them. Man, I don't know what's happening. What is this music, right? So if you've got people in a completely inner urban setting, right? They don't understand country music nor like it. Now you'll have some, right? You'll have some that hey, look at knee slap and whatever. I was raised in the South. I know country music, but in general, people not liking your other part of the culture, right? Black folks tease white folks all the time. Hi, sir. How you doing? Would you like this and this? Or I can't even do a super white guy voice or whatever, where they make
super Texas voice.
Oh, I can do that all day long, little missy. I'll tell you what, Tupac, with your little tight headband.
What is with you and calling me Tupac?
Because you've been rocking a white bandana like Tupac. I'll show you the picture of Tupac with his white bandana.
God, dude.
I'm telling you, I'm going to start wearing one.
Hey, he's racist.
Exactly. I was like,
he's racist because he doesn't like your headband.
I like the headband. I keep talking about it.
Because but he keeps pointing it out.
I thought it was Halloween.
He's a racist.
I thought it was Halloween.
Like Tupac and white bandanas.
Hey, I watched Biggie and Tupac yesterday like it was going out of style.
Jake, I love how he's turning it around, trying to call you the racist after you called him.
Yeah,
racist.
no, he can't take it because he knows he's gonna lose quite a.
I love Tupac.
I'm dying. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's good. Hold on, I'll show you.
There. Why are you showing me a picture of Tupac? Like,
this is you, crackface. This is you right here.
Come with me.
I know what Tupac looks like.
With the white bandana. You were wearing literally the exact same white bandana. Look at that's her. I keep asking her why she don't turn it around, man.
Because I don't want to.
All right. Well, that's all we're gonna do on this segment. I'm gonna go ahead and close it. Listen back and listen to how horrible of a person Matt is, and
really
his friend Aaliyah. So, all right. This is the Jake Podcast. JakePodcast.com.